What's up, everybody, and welcome into today's video. I'm Dave P. We're a real estate channel, but we talk a lot about personal development as well because me personally, I quit drinking alcohol. I have struggled with drugs and alcohol my entire life, and I quit drinking completely 3 years ago. It'll be 3 years next month, and it has gone extremely fast. And I have been creating a lot of personal development content because personally, I have grown so much over the last 3 years. Professionally, I have contracted. I have actually lost millions of dollars over the last 3 years. A lot of lessons in that as well. So we create a lot of content around the path that personally I have been on. I have a business partner, RJ. He's been right next to me this entire time. And we have a lot to share and a lot of knowledge and wisdom through our own experience. We are still buying assets and buying properties. Just closed on another rental. We're selling a lot of assets, made a big mess of a lot of assets, and learned a lot about loans over the last 3 years, and learned a lot about a little something called cross collateralization. This is where you basically bet the farm on deals, and if that deal doesn't work out, the farm goes away. And I have been through that and still going through it, have raised tens of millions of dollars in private money, and have sold and paid back tens of millions of dollars in private money and institutional money, the whole deal. And the next phase is going to be the most exciting phase, but really the last 3 years since I quit drinking alcohol have been a massive contraction phase in the business professionally. It's been nuts because we got to pay our dues. We got to pay our lenders. I mean, if I have any advice for anyone, it's if you find yourself in some kind of financial difficulty, best thing you can do is face it. It's not easy because it destroys the ego. We have these egos, and the ego's biggest fear is looking stupid, right? So when you have to approach a lender or approach anyone and with your tail between your legs and say, I messed up, I shouldn't have done this. I mean, everybody, I want you to know we lost probably close to $500,000 in liquidity of like liquid cash from our bank accounts. And this just came from we got to take full responsibility for it. Not inspecting work, contractors. We have major contractor issues, property management issues, taking your eye off the ball, getting involved in a real estate deal with partners we never should have been working with to begin with, but the ego thought it was a good idea because it's a big deal and now we can talk about it on social media even though you don't know what you're getting involved with, right? The ego will get us in these situations for the sake of looking a certain way, but not necessarily the best thing for you and for the path that you're on, right? So we learned a lot of lessons in the real estate business, but we're still here and we're still fighting and we're still buying. And the biggest thing, the biggest takeaway that really the quitting drinking thing has done for me is just getting checked into the business. Everybody, I was so checked out for so many years. Okay. I used to bring my laptop to the bar as if I was going to like do some work. This is my way of justifying bad behavior. I'm going to bring my laptop. I'm going to get some work done. As soon as I start drinking, all work and all productivity is out the window. And I knew this. I've always known this. As soon as I start taking those first couple sips of the drink, right? It's over. It's over. I'm headed down that path now because there's no stopping me. I am completely wired as an addict. I know exactly what it is to be an addict. If you know what I'm talking about, you know there's no stopping. There's no stopping this train once the train starts moving. So, I was very checked out of the real estate business. I was checked out of our team. I was checked out of the property managers and I was checked out of the contractors. And that's the biggest thing for real estate. I mean, you got to know what's coming in and going out, right? If you're checked out of your team, you don't know who's writing contracts on what. I remember they were just giving me these contracts. I was having private lenders fund deals. I wasn't doing my best as far as due diligence and whatnot goes. I was just doing a deal to post online that we're doing more deals, we're doing more deals. Trusting, but not verifying. This happened very much so with the property management world. We had third party property management, trusting, but not verifying. We used these contractors. Oh, so and so, he's a great guy. He's doing a great job of just giving one contractor 10 different properties to fix up. money flying out the back door like you wouldn't believe, cutting checks, not verifying that work is done, trusting but not verifying. That is no way to run a business. Did that for years. My soon to be wife was pregnant. We had complications with the pregnancy, and we were in the hospital for 5.5 months. Now I have twins, 3-year-old twins. And I remember the business was flying off the rails. I was still drinking. I used to go to the hospital. Some days I was so hungover, and they used to hand me this little tiny baby. These were premature twins I had. I remember thinking how hungover I was. I'm like, I just feel absolutely terrible, right? Before we brought the girls home, the twins home from the hospital after that long stretch, that's when I quit. That's when I quit drinking alcohol, and I had to face the music on a lot of stuff. Personally, I'm lucky that I have such a supportive soon to be wife. She has seen my worst, and she deserves my best. So I'm lucky to have an amazing support network around me, and I'm lucky that these girls are home, these twins. I'm a father now, everybody. I am a father, you know? And these girls have never seen their daddy drunk, right? They've never seen alcohol in the house, and they never will. I've done for life. I've quit for life, everybody. And that takes a lot of courage to say. I remember when I first quit, I never could imagine that I was going to be able to have the courage to say that I quit for life. It was very difficult for me to say that. I don't know why. Maybe you can agree, or maybe you can relate to that. If you're new to quitting drinking or thinking about quitting drinking, maybe you're thinking in your mind right now, I don't think I could ever just fully commit to the public and to the world and to myself that you're done for life. That's scary. I don't know why that was scary for me, but it was. But I'm grateful to be in the position that I am right now, completely sober, completely clear-headed, completely focused. And I'm very grateful. And gratitude, everybody, gratitude is not just something that you do as far as you write down 20 things you're grateful for every morning. We've all heard that exercise before. It's in every single personal development book. You know, hey, here's a way to get grateful. Be grateful. We all know because it's true. Gratitude is the bridge to take you from where you're at to where you want to be. But gratitude is action. Gratitude is not sitting here and writing 20 things down that you're grateful for. That's good, but it doesn't invoke a lot of emotion, energy, and motion. And what I mean by that is typically when we find ourselves, oh, I'm going to force myself to do this chore. I'm going to do this exercise and write down 20 things I'm grateful for every day. We start to find ourselves in this redundant place where I'm grateful for the sun. I'm grateful for the stars. I'm grateful for my spouse. I'm grateful for my kids. It's all of these basically unconditional gratitude. You know, it's kind of like a no shit gratitude. Like, of course you're grateful for these things. There's not a lot of emotion. You're just kind of getting through the exercise of I have to write down 20 things I'm grateful for. That's what it was like for me. So what I realize now on the path that I'm on of personal development, sobriety, and focus, discipline, courage, this is what I do. Gratitude, real gratitude, when you are grateful to God, and I call it God, but you can call it anything you want. You can call it the universe, you can call it Buddha, you can call it Jesus, you can call it, the quantum field, you can call it the infinite intelligence, you can call it the divine, you can call it whatever the creative energy is that all of us are connected to. You know you're connected to a higher power because you feel it in your heart, right? And the best way to show gratitude to your maker, to your creator, is to get your body in movement, to make yourself and to be the best version of yourself. If you feel that higher power within you, which I know you do because you are inspired from time to time, you can be living the most, bleakest life right now, but there are moments, there are flashes of hope, there are flashes of inspiration, and that's what you are connected to. That's what you are. You are connected to more, something greater. How does a little acorn become an oak tree? It's through that divine intelligence. If you were cleaning out your garage and you accidentally scraped your arm, do you have to sit here and focus on that cut and tell yourself and force yourself to heal? No, you heal naturally because you're connected to something that you can't explain. You're connected to something that is healing, it's abundant, it's growing. If you were eating an apple in the forest and you threw the apple core on the ground, that apple core is going to plant 8 to 10 apple seeds and grow multiple apple trees that are going to produce thousands of apples. Think of how abundant this energy is, and you're absolutely connected to it. You can't say that you're not, right? So, how do we show gratitude for our lives, and how do we show gratitude to this divine intelligence, which is the underlying creative energy behind everything in our lives? Well, it's to get off our ass. It's to get moving. And I was telling Lindsay this morning, I don't even like the word manifestation anymore. In fact, I don't think I'm going to use the word manifestation. Maybe I will, because people are attracted to that word. It's a little clickbaity when you think about it. I don't believe in it. Well, here's the thing. I believe in manifestation, but the word itself has been so diluted over the past several years with things like The Secret. And I'm not saying it's bad, the DVD or the DVD. It was a DVD originally when that first came out, and I bought it. The book, The Secret, Thoughts Are Things, Manifestation. It's been so diluted because you could manifest and create, but it's not about just sitting around thinking about something and then it's going to show up in your life like an Amazon delivery. That is crazy. In fact, I'm here to tell you it's the opposite. You are going to be able to manifest what it is that you desire in your life through going through pain. You must overcome challenges, right? This is the way your soul grows, the way you raise your vibration, the way you expand your consciousness is always through the contrast, is always through the difficult stuff. Because when challenges approach you and happen in your life, this provides you clarity so you could focus even more. So if you believe, which I do believe, thoughts are things, even more so though, feelings are things, right? The way that you feel, right, is more important oftentimes than just the way that you think. It kind of goes hand in hand there, right? But we must put in the work. You're always going to feel the best when you overcome something. This is the way it is. When you overcome a challenge, when you set out to do something and you do it, when you fulfill a commitment, you feel damn good. And that's where we need to live. We need to be in that place, because guess what that does? That improves your self-worth and your self-confidence. The number one way to build confidence is consistently keeping your commitments. And it starts with keeping commitments with yourself. Here, everybody. Straight up. Just like, I'm not here to knock on people who are overweight or something like that. In fact, you're going to see my before and after. I'm going for 50 pounds here. I'm already down 35. I'm almost down 40 pounds. And I'm grateful for that. That's hard-ass work. So I appreciate anybody who's on their own journey for weight loss. Quitting the drink can help with that, right? I'm on a mission to be the best version of ourselves. But when you're approached by somebody who maybe doesn't really appear to take care of themselves, are you going to take them as seriously as somebody who approaches you who clearly takes care of themselves? No, because subconsciously, it just lives in us that when you are approached by somebody who takes care of themselves, immediately it's like a warm blanket over you. It's like, well, this person has the ability. I don't know if they're going to take care of me or not, but at least I know they have the ability to take care of me. Sometimes when we're approached, oftentimes by somebody who's just disheveled, especially somebody who's drinking, you can tell they drink. Man, it's tough for me to trust somebody who has a drinking problem but does nothing to fix it, right? It's difficult for me to work with an individual like that because it's just a different vibration. I'm vibing at a different level. But you know what I'm saying? Our soul's mission is to be the 10.0 version of ourselves. That's what our Creator wants. That's what the universe wants for us. That's what God wants for us. That's everything, is to be the 10.0 version of ourselves. And how are we going to do that? It's going to come from self-inflicting, self-inducing adversity on our lives, because our brain is just a problem-solving machine. Our brain wants to overcome stuff. Our soul wants to overcome stuff. This is how we're going to raise our vibration. So how are we going to do it? We have to self-induce challenges, or else our subconscious is going to create other challenges that we're not going to be very fond of. We have to self-induce challenges. So this could come in the form of diet and workout are the two best. And our ancestors have been doing this forever. You listen, 5,000 years ago, they're writing about fasting. Well, we can fast now. In fact, I'm fasting once a week. It's something that's new to me, but we'll save that for another video. That shit ain't easy, guys. But I could see how it very much brings you closer to God. I could see how it brings you closer to the present moment because you ain't thinking about the bills that are due when you're damn hungry. It brings you back into yourself. It brings you into the present moment when you're feeling that hungry, without a doubt. But our ancestors have been doing this through their diet and through their trekking. They would trek through the miles of, to get from point A to point B, and they would just fall to their knees in gratitude for God. That's the assumed position of prayer, right? Is to fall and to be on your knees, right? Well, these our ancestors, they were so famished from fasting and they were so tired from the work that they put in. That's how you become closer to God because you feel so grateful, you feel so powerful overcoming this massive trek or this massive challenge. Well, in our days now in 2025, right? Or whenever you're watching this video, you don't have to trek through the desert and you don't have to starve yourself, but you can pay attention to what it is that you eat. That's the modern day version of fasting. If you don't want to fast, don't. But still, we must pay attention to food because it's such a powerful force in our lives. It absolutely changes not only the physiology, but it changes the chemicals in our body. When you're introducing food, different food's going to make you feel different ways, and we need to feel the best we possibly can. So we better be paying attention to what it is that we put in our body. And then when we overcome a workout, we set this task, we set this challenge for ourselves where we want to get after it. We want to be the 10.0 version of ourselves. Well, when we go to the gym and we do a hard workout, you always feel good. That's why I think jump in these classes. If you're anything like me, for a while, I needed to go to the class, like a CrossFit class, Orange Theory class, Pilates class, a yoga class, whatever it is for you. This way, you're not left to your own laurels. You actually have an instructor. I don't mind a little instruction, right? When I'm just left, what is left to me to figure it all out on my own, I'm going to find myself on my phone. I'm going to find myself drifting, right? That's what Napoleon Hill just called it, drifting away. You're wasting time. So find yourself a class, but the point is when you work hard, when you genuinely put hard work and focus into anything and you overcome it and you're actually successful at it, and it doesn't matter if it's a big commitment, big project, small project, doesn't matter. When you begin to fulfill these commitments to yourself on a daily basis, you're going to start to feel that confidence. And that is going to lead to this self-love. And that's why a lot of us do drink and use drugs and things like that. There's a void, a big void in our chest, right? We're seeking pleasure and we're seeking love externally because, inside we feel shame, we feel regret, we feel like crap because of the habits that we continue to partake in. And unfortunately, the things that give us the most shame and regret are the same places where we're seeking pleasure. It's crazy. We seek this instant gratification. Some of us are addicted to it, right? We've gone so far now where we're physically addicted, right? We've got to be able to break this, get some help. If you're genuinely addicted and you don't feel you can do it on your own, I suggest getting help immediately. But breaking away from these pleasure, this external pleasure. Maybe it's not as serious as a physical addiction. Maybe it's just as serious as doom scrolling, wasting so much time, right? What are we wasting time on? I was having this conversation with Lindsay as well, a different time. What was I talking about? I used to go to these straight up alcoholic bars, which was funny. In fact, I'll be honest with you, we were talking about strip clubs. I used to live right by a strip club and be able to walk there. And you know what's funny, guys? It was never about, sure, it was fun, you're around women and things like that, and that's something visually that I like, of course, keep it real. But what I didn't appreciate about the place is the drinks were too much. I was all about the booze. So I didn't have that great a time because I wanted to drink a lot. That's why I loved going to straight up alcoholic hole in the wall bars that are dirt cheap alcohol where you can drink a crap ton. They're going to nonstop serve you and you don't break the bank doing it. So I never enjoyed going to fancy places, clubs, strip clubs, anything of that nature, simply because I couldn't drink the copious amounts that I wanted to without spending a lot more money. I could drink for less than half the cost at a straight alcoholic hole in the wall joint, right? So with that being said, Let's make commitments to ourselves. This is the biggest thing. And when it comes to our business, let's verify everything. Let's trust, but let's verify. Make these commitments to yourself that you're going to verify the work of people that you work with and your own work, right? Be held accountable, but also be willing to hold others accountable. It's so important. Accountability is key. Fulfill these small commitments to yourself. Big, small, doesn't matter. It could be as little as I'm going to put my shoes away every day when I get home. I'm never going to walk past the sink with dirty dishes. I'm never going to keep trash in my car. You start taking care of yourself on that level. I used to be unshaven, right? I shave every day now. Sounds small, right? But I feel good. Remember, feeling is the secret, right? We talked about the secret, manifestation. I'm going to keep using that word. It is watered down, though, because it's not just this, thoughts are things. It is overcome challenges, and it's going to take work, guys. It's going to take you pushing through. Because the more you push to overcome something and you actually overcome it, the better you're going to feel. And that's what's going to build the confidence, and that confident feeling, everybody, that anchored in confident feeling is what is ultimately going to attract the results into your life. I'm ready for the next phase, but I'm grateful for the phase that I'm in right now. We have sold over 200 properties in the last 24 months. Ridiculous. Paid off tens of millions of dollars in debt. It's been hard. But think how I feel. Think how good I feel. We're not balling out of control. We had so much money at one point. It was ridiculous. When I was drinking, I had the most money. Now that I'm sober, I don't have any money. It's not true. Doing okay. But not like it used to be. But it will be back. And it will be back because I'm 100% focused. 100% honest, brutally honest with myself and everybody else. Ego death. The ego death, everybody. Every decision that I make is for the betterment of myself, my family, this business, and the community at large, right? I'm no longer making decisions for my own external validation reasons, everybody. Oh, I bought a house today. Oh, yeah, this is all great. You know what you're doing. Whoa. You gotta be calculated in all of your efforts. So with that being said, everybody, I hope you are having a wonderful day, and I will see you all on the next video.